Federation built the perfect prison. They thought they buried me. They only gave me the stars. This is the black hole prison, where no one escapes.
Some prisons don't hold you. They remake you.
In the year 2145, humanity had spread across the stars like wildfire. Colonies were scattered across moons, planets, and artificial stations orbiting distant suns. But with expansion came danger. Pirates roamed the void. Corrupt generals sold weapons of mass destruction, and alien warlords challenged the fragile peace of the Galactic Federation. Ordinary prisons were no longer enough to contain such beings, so scientists and engineers designed a nightmare unlike any other. A fortress orbiting the edge of a monstrous black hole, where escape was not only impossible, it was unthinkable. This place became known simply as the Black Hole Prison. The prison was unlike any structure ever built. It was a massive ring-shaped space, stationed suspended at the very edge of Gargantua 9, a black hole so large that even light itself could not escape its grasp. The station's existence depended on precision. Gravitational stabilizers kept it from being swallowed whole, while energy shields fought against the deadly radiation emitted by the abyss. To the Federation, this was not just a prison. It was a symbol of ultimate control. A warning to all that no matter how powerful, no one could defy justice and survive. Within its endless halls and gravity-shifted corridors were kept the universe's most dangerous beings, terrorists who had destroyed entire planets, alien generals who had enslaved species, scientists who had twisted technology into weapons that defied reason, and assassins who had toppled governments. These were not common criminals. They were legends of destruction, names whispered with fear across galaxies. To ensure order, each was locked in a cell powered by anti-gravity stasis fields, monitored by AI-controlled drones, and denied any chance to contact the outside world. Among them was Kael Draven, a man whose reputation sent chills even through hardened soldiers. Once a general of the Federation itself, Kael had betrayed his people and nearly brought the entire galactic fleet to its knees. Brilliant in strategy, merciless in battle, and feared for his ability to inspire loyalty in even the most broken souls. He had commanded an army of millions before his capture. The Federation had declared him irredeemable, sentencing him to the black hole where they believed no rebellion could ever rise again. But Kael was not like the others who wasted away in despair. His sharp eyes studied every flicker of the lights, every hum of the stabilizers, every small glitch in the system. He was not a man who accepted defeat. His mind was a machine of calculation, always searching for weakness. Where others saw an inescapable void, Kael saw possibilities. He began whispering to fellow prisoners, planting seeds of hope, convincing them that even the strongest chains could one day break. The black hole prison was a marvel of design. Corridors shifted like a labyrinth, constantly reconfiguring to prevent memorization. Cells floated in invisible gravitational nets, moving slightly with each orbit, making escape routes unpredictable. Guards were cybernetic soldiers, programmed with no mercy and no emotion. And the warden, a stern man named Admiral, Vayar often boasted, "This prison does not require walls, because the universe itself is our wall." But Kael, listening closely, smiled. He knew no wall was unbreakable. Kael's observations soon bore fruit. During certain hours, the prison's power grids would falter for mere seconds, disrupted by the tidal waves of gravity rippling from Gargantua 9. In those moments, lights flickered, drones hesitated, and anti-gravity fields pulsed unevenly. Most inmates ignored it, but Kael recognized it as the prison's heartbeat, a flaw hidden in plain sight. If timed correctly, it could become the key to survival. One particularly violent radiation storm lasted longer than expected. As alarms blared and stabilizers strained against the cosmic tide, Kael seized the opportunity. With a stolen shard of metal sharpened from a food tray, he began carving pieces from discarded drone parts, smuggling them past inattentive guards. He worked slowly, carefully, hiding his progress where sensors could not scan. For him, the storm was not chaos, it was cover. But Kael knew he could not do it alone. Among the countless prisoners was Ceres Vekara, an alien engineer infamous for building weapons that could tear moons apart. Tall, with skin shimmering like molten silver, She had been exiled by her own species and left to rot in the black hole. Yet her mind was sharper than any blade. Kael approached her cautiously, offering not friendship but purpose. "Help me," he whispered, "and together we'll see a horizon no one else has." Cirrus, curious and hungry for freedom, agreed. For months, the two conspired in shadows. Cirrus's genius turned scraps into circuits, wires into power conduits, and Kael's leadership drew more followers into their secret circle. The device they constructed was unlike anything the prison had seen before, not a weapon in the conventional sense, but something far more dangerous, a machine designed to bend gravity itself. Its purpose was madness, to harness the pull of the black hole, not to destroy them, but to slingshot them beyond its grasp into uncharted space. Kael's plan spread through whispers. Some laughed at its insanity, believing the black hole was a death sentence with no loophole. Others clung to it like drowning men to driftwood, desperate for hope. And as the legend of escape grew, even the guards began to sense the change. They noticed the fire returning to the prisoner's eyes, but they dismissed it as futile hope. After all, no one had ever escaped the black hole prison. The chosen night arrived when the Federation announced a mandatory recalibration of the prison's shields. For 10 minutes, energy would be rerouted, leaving systems exposed. Alarms blared as recalibration began. But amidst the chaos, Kael and his followers struck. 2 guards were silently overpowered, their access chips stolen, and Cirrus activated the hidden device. For the first time in decades, the impossible seemed within reach. The corridors erupted into chaos. Sirens shrieked, drones swarmed like hornets, and the AI tightened security protocols, sealing bulkheads and activating lethal defenses. Prisoners screamed and cheered, some attempting riots while others simply watched with awe. Kael's group, however, moved with precision, cutting through obstacles, dodging fire, and racing toward the hangar bay. Every second was precious, every step closer to freedom. At last, they reached the hangar where a small maintenance pod awaited, barely large enough for 6. It was never meant for long-distance travel, but Kael didn't care. Cirrus attached the gravity device to its thrusters, her hands trembling as she made final adjustments. "This will either free us," she warned, "or tear us apart atom by atom." Kael, his eyes burning with determination, replied, "Better torn apart than forgotten in the void." The pod roared to life, blasting free from the hangar just as cannons lit up the sky. Beams of plasma streaked through the darkness, narrowly missing their fragile craft. Then, with a deafening silence, the black hole claimed them. The pod spun wildly as space bent around them. Stars stretched into lines, and reality itself seemed to fracture. The gravity device screamed under pressure, threatening to collapse, but somehow held together. From the prison control room, Warden Veyer watched in disbelief. His screens showed the pod vanishing into the event horizon, swallowed whole by darkness. To everyone else, they were dead. "No one escapes Gargantua 9, he said firmly, though a shadow of doubt flickered in his eyes. He had seen mysteries in the void before. The black hole was not only a prison, it was something far stranger. Inside the pod, Kael and his crew felt time lose meaning. Their bodies were stretched, their voices echoed across eternity, and their thoughts seemed to blend together. Then, in a blinding flash, the crushing darkness gave way to light. They had not been destroyed. They had been transported. The black hole had become a bridge, a wormhole opening into a place no map had ever marked. They emerged into a star system unlike any they had known. Twin suns painted the void gold. Enormous planets glimmered with crystal rings, and colossal floating structures drifted through orbit like the bones of forgotten gods. It was alien, untouched, and terrifyingly beautiful. To Kael, it was not just survival, it was destiny. But survival was far from guaranteed. Their pod was heavily damaged, oxygen was running low, and supplies were almost non-existent. Yet Kael saw opportunity. "Here," he declared, "we will begin again. The Federation cast us into death, but the universe has delivered us into rebirth." His words lit fire in the eyes of his companions, even as exhaustion gnawed at them. Back in Federation space, panic spread. Reports confirmed the prison's shields had been breached, and surveillance suggested Kael's pod had not been destroyed but vanished entirely. The Senate demanded answers. Was the black hole prison no longer secure? If Kael Draven could escape, could others follow? The myth of perfect containment had been shattered, and with it, the Federation's aura of control. The Warden ordered reconstruction, new stabilizers, and harsher measures. Yet whispers spread among the prisoners who remained. Kael did it. Kael escaped. To them, he was no longer just a man, but a legend, a ghost who had defied the universe itself. Guards grew nervous, for hope was more dangerous than any weapon. Meanwhile, Kael and Saris explored their new world. Strange ruins dotted the planets, remnants of an ancient civilization long vanished, yet their technology still pulsed faintly with power. Saris was fascinated, unlocking fragments of alien knowledge, while Kael saw tools for empire. To him, this world was not exile, it was a foundation upon which a new future could be built. Slowly, they adapted. Using alien machinery, they repaired the pod, built shelters, and crafted weapons. Their small band of fugitives grew stronger with each passing day. What had begun as mere survival transformed into ambition. Kael no longer spoke of escape. He spoke of conquest. The Federation thought they buried me, he said, but all they've done is give me the stars. In time, Kael's name returned to the galaxy, carried in whispers by smugglers and traitors, who claimed to have seen strange ships bearing unknown symbols in uncharted space. Stories spread of a warlord who commanded not just men, but ancient alien machines. The Federation dismissed it as rumor, but fear gnawed at them nonetheless. And so the legend of the Black Hole Prison lived on, not as a tale of hopeless confinement, but as the birthplace of a rebellion that would one day shake the galaxy. Kael Draven, once condemned to eternal darkness, had turned his prison into a passageway. His story was not one of ending, but of beginning. And in the shadows of distant suns, his empire was rising.